Ever wondered how a city of 1 million people survived without a single water pump? No pumps, no problem. Just ask Appius Claudius Caecus, the guy who built Rome's first aqueduct, the Aqua Appia, taller than a 3-story apartment building.
Aha, Doodles.
Picture Rome in 312 BC. 1 million thirsty citizens. One river. The Tiber wasn't just dirty. It was a disease factory. Summer droughts. The river shrank to a trickle. Rainy season. It flooded, carrying sewage straight into homes. Rome needed a miracle, and it got one not from the gods, but from a censor named Appius Claudius Caecus. Overnight, the city's water supply doubled. No pumps, no electricity, just gravity, stone, and genius. That genius was Appius Claudius. Yep, the same guy who built Rome's first highway, because why stop at one miracle when you can pave the way for two? You're standing on a dusty hillside outside Rome, holding a wooden stick with a groove down the middle. It's called a chorobates, and honestly, it looks like something a kid would build in shop class. But this thing is about to do something no modern laser level could even attempt. Move mountains of water without a single pump. The secret. A slope so gentle if you walked it, you'd barely notice you were going downhill. We're talking 1 foot of drop for every 300 feet of length. That's like tilting a football field by the height of a soda can. Too steep. Water rushes, erodes the channel, and the whole thing collapses. Too flat. It just sits there mocking you. Pompeii learned this the hard way. Their aqueduct was so badly miscalculated, it had to be abandoned before it even opened. Take the Aqua Claudia, built by Emperor Claudius, which managed to supply water to over 940 fountains in Rome. But when it worked, that invisible slope turned a trickle into a river. No electricity, no fuel, just stone, water, and the quiet genius of gravity. You'd think an empire that moved rivers would build skyscraping monuments to show off. But Rome, Rome just buried 80% of its aqueducts like a guilty secret. No grand arches, no flashy bridges, just a quiet stone trench snaking through the dirt. Turns out, invisibility had perks. No enemy armies could cut the water supply, no scorching sun could evaporate it away. And maintenance. Just pop open a hatch. No scaffolding, no ladders, just a shovel and a prayer. Rome's engineers, like Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa, cleverly used gravity to their advantage. So Rome did what Rome does best, dug right through them. They carved the 5-mile-long Albano Aqueduct, a masterpiece of Roman engineering. No dynamite, no drills, just muscle, patience, and a whole lot of cursing. But sometimes the mountain didn't budge. Sometimes the valley was just there, a gaping hole in the landscape, too wide to tunnel under, too deep to go around. Instead of surrendering, Rome dropped a 30-mile-long stone straw, the Aqua Claudia, right over the Anio Valley, like a giant Slurpee for the city. Enter the Pont du Gard, a bridge so tall, it could swallow a 16-story building. And yeah, it's still standing, 2,000 years later. 3 tiers of arches, stacked like a Roman layer cake, each stone perfectly cut, no mortar, just gravity and geometry holding it all together. The secret. The arch, it doesn't just hold weight, it spreads it. Push down on the top, and the force ripples outward, turning the whole structure into a team. But here's the twist. Not every valley got a bridge. Some were too wide, too deep. For those, Rome had a trickier move, the siphon. Water would rush down one side of the valley, build up pressure, and poof, get pushed back up the other side. No pumps, no magic, just physics. The Aspendos Aqueduct in Turkey. A masterclass in this. Water climbed uphill for miles, using nothing but pressure. Centuries before anyone reinvented the idea. The Pont du Gard in France. 3 tiers, 0 leaks. So solid your phone's GPS would still work inside 2,000 years later. So the water's flowing, miles of it, invisible, silent, right under the streets. But here's the thing about invisible rivers. They're easy to steal from. Rome wasn't having it. This water was empire critical. Public fountains, baths, even the emperor's private villas. One illegal tap, and whole neighborhoods could go dry. Enter the curator Aquarum, Rome's water commissioner. Think of him as the ancient world's most powerful plumber. One guy, one job. Keep the water flowing and the thieves out. His toolkit. Brutal penalties. Tamper with the aqueduct. That's a fine so steep it'd bankrupt a senator. Or exile. Or if you were really unlucky, execution. But Rome was clever. Instead of just punishing thieves, they made stealing pointless. How? Casella, those stone distribution tanks you saw earlier. Each one was like an ancient water meter. Every neighborhood got its own pipe, its own share. No more fighting over who got the cleanest water. The Casella split it fairly, like a giant stone version of your Wi-Fi router, but for water. Turns out the Casella even had a secret weapon. The Librator, Rome's original level checker, who'd eyeball the flow with a stick and a plumb bob. Basically ancient TikTok for hold my wine cup. So the water kept flowing. The fountain stayed full. And Rome? Well, Rome just kept being Rome. So the water kept flowing. And Rome? Rome decided to throw the world's biggest pool party. Every neighborhood got its own nympheum. A fancy public fountain. Basically Rome's version of a water cooler. No more trekking to the Tiber with a bucket. Clean water right on your block. And yeah, the streets got a lot less fragrant. And one emperor's vanity project, the Aqua Claudia, could sling 44 million gallons daily. Imagine 60 Olympic pools worth of water, just to keep Rome's fountains Instagrammable. Hot water, cold water, saunas, gyms. These weren't just baths. They were the original spas, gyms, and Tinder all rolled into one. Even private villas got running water. Fancy homes had pipes feeding fountains, showers, and if you were really rich, your own little bathhouse. But here's the catch. All that water had to go somewhere. And Rome's answer? Straight into the Tiber, the Cloaca Maxima, Rome's mega sewer, dumped everything into the river, which, honestly, just moved the stink downstream. The Tiber River got a toxic cocktail, with around 40 tons of waste dumped daily. Talk about a dirty little secret. Centuries passed. Rome's empire stretched, then frayed. Barbarian armies marched in. No time for maintenance, just survival. Most aqueducts collapsed. Channels clogged with silt. Bridges crumbled. The water stopped, but not all. Two held on. The Aqua Virgo, built in 19 BC, still feeds Rome's Trevi fountain today. And in Spain, the Segovia Aqueduct. 167 arches, 17 km of mountain water, supplied the city until 1973. How? They were built to last. No shortcuts, just stone, gravity, and a gradient so precise it's still working. Then the Renaissance hit. Engineers like Leonardo da Vinci dug up old Roman texts, squinted at ruins, and thought, wait, this actually works. Europe's water systems got a Roman revival. Cities copied the design, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The Romans built over 1,000 kilometers of aqueducts, and places like Segovia, Spain, still boast these ancient engineering marvels. So you turn the tap in your domus, your fancy Roman townhouse, and out it comes. Crystal clear mountain water, straight from the hills. But that water didn't just appear. It traveled up to 90 kilometers, through tunnels carved into rock, over valleys on towering bridges, and along underground channels so precise, they dropped just 34 centimeters every kilometer. First stop, the sedimentation tank. A big stone box where the water slows down, and all the dirt leaves and, let's be honest, occasional dead rodent sinks to the bottom. Then it's time for the Casello Aqui, the distribution tank. Think of it like Rome's water traffic controller. From here, pipes branch out to fountains, baths, and the homes of the lucky few who could afford private taps. Public fountains got first dibs. Why? Because Rome believed clean water was a right, not a luxury. So even if you lived in a cramped insula, basically a Roman apartment, you could fill your jug for free. And here's the twist. That water was often cleaner than what Londoners drank in the 1800s. No cholera, no typhoid. Just fresh, filtered mountain spring water delivered by gravity alone. The secret. The Romans didn't just build aqueducts, they built a system. A system so good, we still use its principles today. Sedimentation, pressure regulation, gravity-fed flow, it's all there. So how did they move mountains of water without pumps? They didn't need them. They just let gravity do the work and perfected the art of the slow, steady slope. Next time you take a sip, remember, you're drinking from the same playbook as the Romans.